Hi guys, Dave here from Wolf in the Wild Survival. I'm back at my very first ever campsite, the one that I've had since I was 8 years old. I am going to be here, I think, about 4 days, 3 nights. Brought a bunch of gear, a bunch of stuff, some newer toys, a buddy of mine, and I am happy to say, alright, everybody is familiar with my Selkirk. I have it with me pretty much everywhere I go. Oh, I'm not wearing my neck knife. Sorry, Frank. I brought it. And I now have the Selkirk folder. Stopped at a place in Barrie on our way, and I finally got the Selkirk folder that I've been wanting since they came out with it a couple of years ago. So we're probably going to be playing around with that and seeing if it's anywhere worth its salt as the fixed blade is. I've got my tent up, I've got my hammock up, and I just got to throw together my chair. Tripod's up. Now I need to put the seat up. Now, last time it was a little high, and when I got home the back of my legs were hurting a little bit from being wrenched onto that chair, so I think I'm going to put it a little bit lower this time, and just for sort of just for interest's sake, do a little test. I'm only going to do a single Canadian jam knot. I'm going to leave the rest of it just completely alone and see if that jam knot holds it fine or if it needs to be lashed further. I'm not even going to notch it just to see what happens. Well, moment of truth. Well, the one side let go. That side's still okay, but this one's... Nope. It seems that a single Canadian jam knot just isn't going to do it. Now maybe if I notched in, it might have held better. But no, this one's not... It's not quite doing it. It was worth a try. Ribeye for dinner. Oh yeah. Sizzle, sizzle. How do you like your steak cooked, Nick?
Medium rare.
Blimmin' hot!
Did you not bring tongs?
Did I bring tongs? No, I didn't bring tongs.
That would have been
I'm
more...
cooking over a campfire with a bunch of rocks. Do I look like Ramsay? White pepper.
No, it wasn't going on the meat.
And for mine,
Tell
just a dash.
your brother Roy, hey man, bring us some space, more steaks, please.
Steak time. Oh.
Right?
You just can't beat cooking over a campfire. I don't care if it's coffee or if it's steak, or it always tastes better on a campfire. I don't know why. So good. Oh. So what are we eating here? Ribeye steak. I field stripped an MRE and got some hash brown potatoes for a side. That's still heating up. What'd you get out of yours?
Scallop potatoes.
Scallop potatoes. Lucky guy.
Oh, the steak is something else though. Wow.
That was $45 for 2 steaks. But worth it. Alright, so let me think now. We probably left home probably around 9 a.m. 8:30, 9 a.m. we left. We gassed up. We drove till about noon. And we got to a store that we've been wanting to check out. And that's where I got my Selkirk folder. We went to Cabela's in Barrie.
Fully recommend anybody to go check that place out. Lives here in Canada.
Great store. Really nice. Then we drove for another hour. And we pulled the car over kind of on the edge of the bush. Got all of our gear out. Then Nick went down to park his car in at Mike Gravenhurst house. And then he come back and met me, and we marched everything into the bush, which probably took, I don't know, maybe a little over an hour. We set up our tents. I built my chair and he unfolded his.
That's right. Comfort. Easy comfort.
It's probably around 9:30 at night now, or 9:30. It's kind of starting to get dark. Just getting the dinner into us now. So, yeah, about 4.5 hours driving, an hour wandering around Cabela's. Oh, and then we did some last minute shopping when we got in to Gravenhurst. So it was probably about 2 o'clock in the afternoon by the time we got here. So, all in all, not bad for a first day. Now, one thing that I did not do, that I kept saying that I was going to, when I was doing the 7-day survival challenge is I said that I was going to build a gear rack. And I still really want to show that off, so I might do that this trip. I'm going to be teaching Nick how to properly use a ferro rod. And I don't know, we'll probably get a little bit bushcrafty here and there. Who knows what we'll get up to. But, yeah, pretty much running out of light for filming pretty quickly. And, you know, we're eating, so I won't keep this thing running and have you guys watch Nick and I super enjoying the steak. We bought 3 steaks apiece, so we're gonna have we're gonna eat well out here. So, yeah. Get back to you guys tomorrow, probably. Well, here we are, sort of late morning, early afternoon of day 2. We've been a couple of coffees. I made the throne away from home for if we need to drop a load out here, or when we need to. And I'm just sort of working on my gear rack kind of thing. I got some of it done here. I'm kind of working on the center part. Underneath is our little wagon with a cooler in it, which I kind of have to organize a bit better and whatnot, get this all done up. And maybe put another table out the side here, maybe a little further at the back as well. And the basic idea is that, where did I, oh, there we are. So this will keep gear basically organized, and I mean I could put like multiple tiers, multiple shelves. I could build it up as much or as little as I want for keeping all my gear sort of stored and kind of whatever. If for some reason it starts pouring rain and it's time for me to basically seek shelter in my tent, I could take my rain poncho which duals as a tarp, obviously, and put it over everything. Now it's got grommets on all 4 corners, so I can tie that, cinch it down, and that should basically keep all of my gear more or less protected from the rain in all but the absolute most torrential windstorm rain downpours, which is why I never built this on my 7-day trip that I did not too long ago, because there was a couple of days where the wind was just absolutely crazy mental and it poured rain quite a lot, and the gear rack probably would have blew away, or at least it might have ruined my my poncho. It wouldn't have been much use to me in that kind of weather. But according to the weather report, it's supposed to be a beautiful week. We've got awesome weather going so far, and I'm doing it up here, even though we're only here for like 3 nights, 4 days. But I really wanted to show you guys what the general idea was for me doing the gear rack. So I don't know what else I'm going to get into, but hopefully it'll be something that I can share with you guys eventually, sometime later today or whatever. But I'm going to try to keep this video somewhat short, just one part. And hopefully like under an hour. If it runs more than that, I might do 2 parts. But I don't want it to run too long for the whole 4 days, because I think it would kind of really mirror a lot of the videos that I've done recently. And you know, I mean, why bother to overlap everything and repeat myself? So the gear rack, at least for the time being, is basically finished. I might add to it here and there over the next couple of days, who knows, but we're sort of good. I've got my water bottle here. I just go down to the creek and I fill the pot and I dump it into the bottle through the cotton bandana. When you get a bandana, make sure it's cotton, not polyester. Put it through the bandana. It pre-filters the gunk out of the water, and then I use the Katadyn Hiker to filter it out, either into whatever drinking vessel or into my Sea2 Summit kitchen sink with our little green scrubby in there so we can keep our stuff more or less clean, including our hands. Holy jumpins'. Additionally, a cooking quad pod with my grill suspended nicely where it'll get lots of smoke and just enough heat when we build up a coal base. As well as my camp chair and the thrown away from home, which also doubles as a sawhorse when it's not being used for what its intended purpose is. So, as far as a camp trip goes, it's been pretty bushcrafty, pretty good, getting little things done. And well, I'm using my tent, the Bunker 3, that I'm sure most of you are familiar with. I also have my hammock set up for afternoon naps and just to keep gear in, sort of up off the ground or whatever. And well, Princess Nick brought his castle to camp in. So, jeez.
Really, my castle.
You have a problem with castle, but not princess. Okay. Everybody heard that, right? So we are on day 3. It's probably a little past noon, I would guess. Had breakfast a little while ago when we got up. Nick's just making some lunch now. We explored around a little bit. We found a lot of signs of bear in the area. Lots of deer all over the place. And I don't know, I mean, nothing like super exciting, camera worthy, you know, kind of whatever. But we were kind of reestablishing the fire a little bit, and one of the better woods around here to reestablish a fire and get her burning nice and hot so that you can establish a coal base is white pine. White pine is absolutely everywhere around here. Now, a lot of people don't necessarily like using white pine because it gums up your saw blade, which it certainly did mine. And while I broke a tooth. I didn't even notice that. While I was sitting here sort of cleaning it off, I figured I'd turn on the camera, just, you know, say hi to you guys, and briefly kind of let you know. You don't have to avoid using evergreen trees for your fire to save your saw blade if you do what most people do and carry an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Now, cleanliness, first aid applications, fire starting applications, all of that, you know, kind of goes without saying. Everybody kind of knows, you know, it helps you to start a fire, and it keeps you, you know, sanitized and clean and da-da-da-da-da. But something that a lot of people don't seem to realize is alcohol-based hand sanitizer does break down pine sap. And if you get it all over your hands and all over your saw blade, you just get, you know, like some sort of a cloth, your shamog, bandana, even a wet wipe like what I have, and you clean it off of your hands, you clean it off of your saw blade, and you're good to go. It really doesn't take a lot of elbow grease to get it done at all. So good as new, minus one tooth, no problem. Always carry alcohol-based hand sanitizer in your pack, multi-purpose item. Other than that, I don't know. If we get into anything exciting, I will turn the camera back on, I'm sure. We're working on the same original firelight from 3 days ago. And we've got a relatively established coal base still from yesterday. When it covers with ash, it burns a whole lot slower, so you stir it up and you get her going again. So we got steaks for tonight too, and we're getting the coal bed established before we put the grill back on and start cooking. Probably take, I don't know, maybe hour and a half to get a good coal base going with all the hardwood we have.